Thank you once again for joining us for our weekly press conference with Long Beach State women's volleyball head coach Tyler Hildebrand. We're in advance of the season opener this weekend as Texas and Loyola Marymount will both come to the Walter Pyramid. We'll open things up with a statement from Coach, and then we'll have questions.
Thanks, Roger. It's year 2 for me as a head coach. It's been a very fun and exciting preseason. Last year was a lot about kind of getting the team used to systems and what we train and how we train, and most importantly, how we want our culture to be. So whether it's last spring to the summer to the fall, it's been a lot of fun to see our culture grow and know a lot about more of who we want to be and what we want to be about. We're playing a lot better volleyball, and we've obviously added 9 new players, 6 freshmen and 3 transfers, and they've all been great additions, and we're really excited. And I know that a lot of people are excited about the match this Friday, but we're excited about our whole preseason because we're going to get tested. And one of the biggest things we're excited about is we have a conference tournament at the end of the year, and we're playing at home for that. And that'll be the AQ, the automatic qualifier for the NCAA tournament. So we're excited about the next 6 weeks because our first 4 are a really tough preseason schedule that we scheduled on purpose because we want to see what we're made of and learn and grow. And we're and our first 2 weeks of conference are 4 tough teams as well. So our first 6 weeks we're really excited about. So we're getting rolling.
Tyler, starting out with number 1 Texas, and then Loyola Marymount, Indiana, Washington, and UCLA, 5 straight really good home matches to start out the season. Just walk us through a little bit about how you put that together.
Yeah, once we found out that we were going to get a tournament at all, and then once we were hosting it, we want to prepare. We want to play the toughest teams we can. We want to be playing in front of big crowds because there's going to be a big crowd here, for our tournament, I think. Obviously, every time we play Hawaii, we have to play there in a big crowd. Our goal is to make the NCAA tournament, and we'll be playing in front of big crowds there, and tough competition. And so, I wanted to schedule as hard, as difficult a preseason as I could, but also every year, I think we're going to want to schedule as challenging opponents as we can in the preseason because our ultimate goal is to get into the tournament. That's what we're here to do, and to start winning matches in the tournament and get deeper. So we want to do that. We only have control of our preseason schedule. So we want to do that every year. But this year was specifically easier to do that because we knew we had the tournament, which meant we were going to get tested and we were going to have a chance to grow all year and play our best at the end of the year is the goal. But we also want our fans to be excited about teams that we play. We want recruits to know that, we're not either A, afraid to play teams, or B, that, there's a lot of that's said. I mean, I think I gained a lot of respect for our conference last year that I wasn't in this conference, ever in women's volleyball. So we have a good conference, but we know it's not the same conference as Big 12 or SEC, ACC, Big 10. I don't even know what's going on with the Pac-12, but, we know that. And so recruits need to know that we're going to play great teams because you're going to play great teams in preseason. We're going to have tough matches in conference, and then we're going to play hopefully great teams in the tournament. And so we're going to continue to schedule like this. How it came to be, I'm really good friends with the Texas staff, and I've known them a long time. A couple of them from California, and they just hit me up. I'm like, yeah, we'll play you. Let's go. And obviously good friends with LMU. I think we're going to play them probably a lot in preseason. It's a really good match for us and them, and they're right up the street. UCLA's head coach is one of my best friends, so we want to do UCLA probably every year. Nebraska, obviously, my connection there. I think Nebraska's coming to us next year, week 3, which will be cool. And so a lot of them are some of the relationships that I have, but we got lucky getting Indiana and Washington because us and UCLA were just going to get 2 teams, and I don't know, no one wanted to play us and UCLA, so we had to go to some tougher teams that were willing to play, and fortunately we got 2 great teams in Indiana and Washington.
Coach, coming into this year, I mean, the first match is Texas right off the bat. Is there anything that you tell your players in a special way coming into that match? They are the defending champions. Everyone will know that coming in. Or is it just trying to play down the fact that they are the defending champions?
We're not going to play it down. We want to be transparent and deal with reality and enjoy the challenge. We're going to go about business as usual. I think there's going to be a big crowd. I mean, the sandbar tickets that I'm giving out are going to be the most I've given out. So we know it's going to be a big crowd. There's going to be a lot of excitement around it. So we're going to use it, like I just said to Roger. I mean, we scheduled this so we could prepare and test ourselves because we're going to be in these environments hopefully throughout the year. So this is our first chance to do that. Texas is going to be tough. They obviously had a great season last year. They returned some people. They've added a lot of people. They're going to be really physical, and they're going to be a lot to deal with. But we want to go into that match trying to improve, trying to get better, trying to take whatever the challenge is. If we're tight in a set, how do we handle it? If there's a set we don't play our best and they take care of us, and the score's not close, how do we bounce back? If we win a set, how do we continue to play that way and not be happy with winning a set against Texas? So, but we're going to have a lot of respect for them that they've earned, and we're going to be honest about the challenge ahead of us. They're on paper a better team than we are, but what can we do to get them off balance, and how can we test our system and how we play against a great opponent?
You mentioned the different ways you're dealing with a set. It seemed like all of those ways you mentioned were experienced in the Pepperdine scrimmage that the Beach just had. How much did you take away from that scrimmage, even with building your roster and your lineup?
Yeah, I mean, you always schedule, or we did it last year. We might keep doing Pepperdine. I'm really good friends with Scott Wong. He's one of the best people and coaches in our sport. I have nothing but love and respect for him and how he goes about his business. And it's a nice thing for us. We're right here. So I just kind of scheduled it again because, you're supposed to do that. But now I know the real value of it is, I mean, that match, we had some kind of a relative starting lineup, or whatever, wanted to play a lot of people. We got to play a lot of people. And then we had 5 players come in that played. If you have 5 obviously we wouldn't do a wholesale change like that typically, but we wanted to get people playing time and see how people would do. But I mean, the way Maura Hayes, you guys are, she's kind of on a limited basis with some stuff she's dealing with, and just physically, she's setting in practice. She's not even playing opposites. She came in and hit 400. Has had 3 aces, I think, jump serving. Nicole Hoff played the best I've seen her play. Jenna played incredible, subbing in for Mo, and then Elise. Elise went off and ended up with the most kills and most attempts. And then Ella hit 559. It was. You don't have that happen, but what we learned is that we knew we had depth, but it was really cool. I think that's our culture right there, that our girls care about each other. They want to empower each other. So everyone that came in felt like they were supported, and they were. And again, it wasn't like we pulled people. We just, we were going to play people anyway. But yeah, you don't get 5 people playing like that coming into a game typically. So we were impressed that the level of our gym has risen, and we have that depth. And we learned a lot about what we need to do better. We didn't play very good in the first 2 sets across the board, and we've been playing really, really, really well in practice. So I worked 6 hours yesterday. I've been here since 5 a.m. today, and we're trying to figure out what we need to do better this week.
You mentioned all of those players that came in and gave you a lift on Saturday. What do you think you guys did in between sets 2 and 3 to kind of help turn things around?
Well, I think those players is what changed. They came in and played great, and that's not that the players in front of them in the first 2 games didn't. They didn't play their best, but. That was the main thing, Roger, is that they just played really, really well. But from like a tactical or volleyball or statistical standpoint, in the first 2 sets, we hit 106. And in the last 3 sets, we hit 333. So we tripled our offense, so that helps. Serving has been a big focus because we were probably a medium serving team last year, and we need to be a great serving team this year. And we've been serving great in practice, and we served, on our stats, we served a 1-2, which is really, really, really low. We're not going to beat anybody serving a 1-2. And our goal is to serve a 1-8. That's not going to mean much to everyone, but our standard is a 1-8, and we served a 1-8-6 in the last 3. So our serving numbers changed drastically. Pepperdine passed a 2-8-4 in the first 2 sets. It's going to be hard for anybody to beat a team if they're passing a 2-8-4. That's really high. And they passed a 2-1-5 in the last 3 sets. So we all know volleyball, if you win the serve and pass battle, our passing numbers didn't change, but our serving numbers changed, which drastically changed their passing numbers. So, and our defense. So our defense, we've been playing, again, we were, I think, below average defensively last year, floor defense. Not overall defense, but floor defense. And we've been playing incredibly well since the spring and all preseason. I mean, almost surprising ourselves how well we've been playing defense. And we played really poor defense in the first 2 sets. We were digging at about 58%, which means of balls we should dig, we were digging 58%. You're not going to beat teams doing that. And we went up to 82% in the last 3. So those were the actual changes in volleyball, but those happened because I think of the players that came in and didn't just lift us volleyball-wise, they lifted us. They gave us a boost with energy and confidence.
Speaking of that, you mentioned Elise Hagee. She finished with 14 kills. Abby Carrick had 12. 2 transfers that are coming in, 2 out of your 3 transfers. How do you think how has it gone integrating them into what you guys are doing in kind of a short time frame?
That's a great question. We had Hannah and Elise in January, so they're pretty caught up to speed. Took some time. We do things I think a little differently. I don't mean that necessarily in a good or arrogant way. Just we do things differently, so it takes time we do certainly from club training, so a lot of players that come to us have 8-9 years of doing things a certain way, and we don't do things that way. So it takes time. So, but they had Elise and Hannah had time to do that, and so they're ready to rock. So for Elise, she's not thinking about all that now, which is, I think one of the reasons she was comfortable there. Abby is really impressive because Abby came to us in June, and so we've had 2 weeks with her, with coaches. We're not with them in the summer, but one of the things that we've worked on with their culture is player-led autonomy and player-led leadership. And so our team, our players, our leadership group, and some others, they were the ones, we can't do that. So they directed practice. They were writing practice on the board. They were designing it. They were running it. They were teaching the systems. We didn't have that in place last year in terms of our players either knowing it enough or having that leadership. And when they kind of told me about all that, I was blown away. I'm like, you guys are doing what? It's called open gym, but they're in there, and a lot of schools have managers and things that can do that. It was all player led. And so I think that helped Abby a lot to learn a lot this summer. And they were teaching her a lot of our offense and passing and all of that. And so she got a good start. So I think she's farther along than if that wouldn't have happened. I'm really proud of our players to do that because, we want them to have that opportunity to lead and teach. But that doesn't always mean it works out. But I'm really proud of our culture and our leaders and our players that they feel comfortable to do that and they got that experience because that'll pay off in life and as they grow as people.
Just following up on that, who do you see on this team as the leaders that are kind of, spearheading that decision to, really focus on player autonomy?
Yeah, there's a couple different models. I mean, there's like the one captain, or maybe 2 captains, and they're kind of called captains. We have what's called a leadership team, and we have that at 5 players. Last year, so Tia Chavira is an unbelievable leader. She's born to be a leader. She's going to be a leader in anything she ever does in life. Katie Kennedy is exactly the same. So Tia and Katie were on the leadership team last year. Savannah Chacon was on the leadership team. And she brings a lot to us in terms of she's kind of like the team mom, so to speak. She's really in tune with she's also really a hard grinder with what she does. So she's not soft. It's just she's really tough, but she's really looking out for how everybody's feeling and thinking. And that's an important part of leadership that I think she fills a nice void, or not void, but a nice, she supplements us there. Those three were all captains or leadership team last year. We had Callie and Morgan last year as the two others. So we let the team vote and add two. We want to keep it at 5. 3 is a little small, and 4, there's no voting odd men, rights. And so we added 2, and that's Zaina Meyer and Nicole Hoff. And Nicole probably could have or should have been on the leadership team last year. She's a great leader as well. And Zaina's just a natural leader and as a setter and growing into her own. And so those are the 5 that we look to. This summer, Zaina and Nicole weren't on that yet, but they were kind of showing those signs. And so we feel really good about our leadership team, and we give them a lot of autonomy to do what they want. I defer to them on a lot of decisions, travel stuff, practice times, what we want to do in practice, how we're feeling. I defer to them. I shouldn't say we as a staff defer to them to really lead. It's not just like, hey, go do the coin flip, or when we're not playing well, when he needs to yell at someone, that's not. We give them a lot of autonomy to be a part of our entire program of leadership, and we do that with all of our players, but specifically those 5.
Coach, for fans that will be coming to the Pyramid, maybe they'll be seeing warm-ups, and there's something on the back of your warm-ups this year. It's JT3, I believe. Yeah. Could you explain that for fans?
Not publicly, no. I can't. It's something for us for this year. It's nothing bad or anything. It's good. But, we made a decision. Do we want to share this or not? And we actually asked the players if they wanted to do that or not. We talked to Brian Gimilara a little bit and some other speakers that we've had come in, and everyone says we share a lot about our program. I'm pretty open about everything, and I share what we do on volleyball with anybody that asks, but it's kind of a collective decision to try to keep that. We shared some of it with, we had a supporter, donor, alumni, fan day the other day, open house, and there was about 20 people at the boathouse afterwards, and we shared it with them because they're part of our family. You guys are too in here, but we're going to keep it to ourselves publicly because it's something special to us for this season.
And in terms of bringing in new family to your coaching staff specifically, have a few new assistant coaches, how have they been able to pretty much mesh with the rest of the team?
There's a whole new staff other than John Perry's. Me and John Perry are in it for the long haul, but they've been fantastic. Natalie joined us in January. Bjorn came over on the boats in mid-March, I think. And Anthony Wong, who's Justine Wong's, Arantes' brother. Winnie Wong, who's a local here. They grew up here, I think in Cyprus, but in the area. And I've known Winnie and Justine since Justine was a little kid. And Anthony was maybe not even born yet. But Anthony's been incredible. It was a big loss for us to lose Jordan because Jordan was so impactful, what he could do in the gym, who he was as a coach, as a person. And I'm just blown away by Anthony. He's just like Jordan. He can play like Jordan in practice, and he's just on it. Anthony's been incredible. Natalie blows all of us away every day. She's so on everything. She gets stuff. I don't even ask her to do stuff, and she's doing it. And she's, she has she was at Nebraska right before I was there, so we have a lot of connection there. She was with Aaron Mansfield at LMU, who's one of my good friends and a great coach. So, and she was a head coach at Harvard Westlake, which is a really nice private high school. So she's got a lot of great experience. She knows me really well. She's great with the girls. She's a really, really talented coach. But she blows all of us away every day. We're all just she's like, all right, Natalie, just keep doing what you're doing. And then, Bjorn was born to be a coach, and he's one of the most talented coaches I've been around. And I knew he would be that way, but I had never seen him coach until March. But he has a gift, and he needs to, why he's over here. He's sacrificing a lot to come from Norway to be here, and his whole family and friends are there. And I think ultimately he would rather live there than here, but he's sacrificing this because of a dream to coach, and this is a good place to coach, whether it's salary or career path and all that. And so he sacrificed a lot to be here, and I hope he does this because and I hope Natalie does too, but I hope he does this because he has a gift and he needs to share it.
And overarching goals for your team, you shared something that you wanted your team to look forward to last year to try and build on. Is it about the same this year, or is there a new goal?
I mean, objective goals. We want to make the NCAA tournament. It's been 8 years, I think. When I took this job and came back from Nebraska, it was I'd never not been in a tournament. I mean, it's like, so our goal is to give this to our fans and our university who's supporting us, and our new AD Bobby, who we're fired up on. This program, this alumni, these fans, they deserve us to be in the tournament and starting to make some runs. I don't know when that's going to happen. So, but that's our goal this year, and I think we can achieve it. I'm confident we can achieve it. But so that's the first goal. Winning our conference is another goal because that matters for Commissioner Cup, which is important to us, to our program, our staff, everyone that helps us, all of you guys here. I mean, it's important that all the time and effort that gets put into all these teams, we want to win that Commissioner's Cup. So we got to do well in conference. So those are always our goals. But our number one goal is to get people in the stands. The number one goal is to get people in the stands, get people excited, connected, knowing us, knowing what we're doing, being excited about us, feeling like they're a part of it, bringing everybody in. We have an open practice, open door policy. We want people to come in and get to know us. And so those are always our goals. So those haven't changed. So I guess, no, they haven't changed, but we're a better team this year. We're tougher. We're more resilient. We're farther along in who we want to be. We have less challenges in a lot of those areas because we're a year and a half into this, and we've gotten more and more talent. And we have some more challenges because our schedule is pretty tough.
Tyler, we talked a little bit about the passing and the hitters, certainly from Saturday, but, as a setter yourself and a setter's coach, can you tell us what you've seen from Zaina Meyer as she's going into year 2 as the team setter?
Yeah, I mean, Zaina and I spent a lot of time together. And we knew each other from back when she was going into 9th grade, and I saw her when I was USA beach coach at beach tournaments. So we've known each other a long time, but these last 18 months we spent a lot of time together. And I've said this a bunch, but I'm more proud of the person Zaina's becoming, and I'm more proud of the fact that she's growing as a leader, growing in her ability to create relationships on and off the court, and her ability to understand that life is about balance, because she's as tough and as committed and as gnarly of an athlete as you could ask for. But we're here to develop people too, and so I'm just as proud of her growth there, more proud of her growth there. I know she's going to be a great setter. I know she already is a great setter. That stuff is easy, I think, in terms of teaching her that stuff and her learning that stuff. But to answer your question directly, she's starting. Last year she was as good as any freshman setter, I think, in the country, but certainly in our conference. I thought she was the best setter in the conference. And that's no disrespect to Kate and all the other good setters in our conference, but that was my thought. But she's starting to become a really elite setter. I think she's going to impress even more people than she did last year. And I think she's going to start getting on the national team radar pretty soon. And I think she's becoming an elite setter.
We touched on this a little bit, but one wrinkle of this season is the Big West adding a conference tournament, which is going to be held here in the Walter Pyramid. Just what do you think that change is going to mean to the program?
Oh, man, I could talk about this for a long time, but I'll try to keep it brief, which everyone knows I'm not great at. But to me, the thing that I think is going to have the biggest effect down the road, that means the most to me, and I hope it means it to the other coaches and players and programs and fans in our conference, is that this is going to have an impact on the conference. Because I think we were sitting here, Matt, and you asked me, like, hey, how are you going to motivate your team? Because we were mathematically out, obviously, I think with 2 weeks left. And we had a pretty darn good season. And I was like, that's a great question, Matt. That's not how sports should be. Now, if you have there's always going to be losers. I don't mean losers, but there's going to be people that lost enough that season they just lost too much and they got to figure it out and get on to and make changes and go. That's how it is in sports. But in our conference, if we just look at it as our conference, we can't have one team fight, 2 teams playing for something the last 2 weeks of season. That's not good for the conference. That's not good for, I think last year it was like, if we had the conference tournament last year, Davis would have been in, San Diego would have been in, Irvine, us, Cal Poly, that would be the 6, right? Hawaii, Cal Poly, UCSB, us, Irvine, and I think it would have been Davis or UCS, or no, I think it was Davis. But like whoever was 7 and 8, all 8 of those teams would have been fighting their whole season to get into that tournament. We have problems with funding in this, in this conference. We have fan base problems. We have not problems, but things that we need to improve upon to raise the level of our conference, to give a better experience to student athlete. And what's it like when you're in 7th place in the middle of early October? How are you going to get your fans fired up? They're coming to watch you play, but they know you're done in whatever the end of the season. How are you going to get your administration to back you for that extra travel money you're looking for, or the extra out-of-state scholarship, whatever it is? Like, you can start to do that. Hey, man, we're making the conference tournament every year. We're fighting to the last thing. You can start to. It's going to make our conference better. What about the student athletes? I mean, you want some of our student athletes to go 4 years and they play 6 conference matches that with a dream of going to the postseason, and then their other 14, or I guess there'll be 12 now. It would have been 14. Their other 14 matches, they're just playing to play. I mean, like, that's not sports, and you times that by 4, they play 64 matches, right? Is that the math? Or 56 matches. 56 matches they're playing just to play. And they're good. They might be 5th or 6th in our car. They're a good team. Mm-hmm. That's just not fair. That's not right to the student athletes. So that's what it means to the conference. What it means to us this year. It was amazing that Tiffany Edlin and our admin stepped up in the meeting, because it was going to be 2024, and the Big West was like, we don't have anyone to host in 23. That's the only holdup. And RSWA, raise your hand. So we'll host. We can do it. So that means a lot to us, and this is a great place to host the first one because of the history here and the fan base here. So, and it gives us a shot on January 19th, our first day or whatever it was, January 20th. I was able to write on the board, every single thing we do from this day till Thanksgiving is going to be to prepare wins, losses, injuries, whatever. Everything is going to be prepared that we know we have a home tournament that we're going to try to win. And that's no one's ever been able to say that in the history of the Big West. And so I think all is right in the competitive world for us and for the student athletes in our conference and the programs.
All right, perfect. Thank you for your time, Tyler.
All right, thank you guys. I have one last thing. So I want everyone to know that we're Nike, and we have a great relationship with them. They've given us a wonderful contract. We're just fired up on Nike, and they've been great to us. And they're going to come out with a ball next year. It's going to be open, I think, in May or June of 2024. It's the first ever championship ball for Nike. So you can buy a Nike ball at Big 5, but there's never been a championship ball where you play with it in NCAA or professionally, or maybe in the FIVB. Nike's never done that. They spent 3 years developing a ball, doing all the science, all of that, everything they could to create the best ball possible. They came to us and they wanted feedback, and I was like, dude, what do you mean feedback? Let's use that ball. They weren't ready. They're like, no, it's not coming out. We don't have it. That was in May, and I said, okay. And Nelson Ferris was like, well, we could step on the gas if you want to. I'm like, let's step on the gas. And so we did. Steve Ueda, everyone at Nike, Nelson Ferris, they all made this happen so that we could do this and have this ball this year. NCAA's approved it. It's all approved. It's black and gold, which is really cool. I think there were some other Nike schools that wanted it, but Nike was like, hey, we're going with Long Beach this year. So we're going to be the only team in the country with that ball, which is a testament to what Nike believes in us. It's a testament to what we're doing and how we're growing and how we're building this program back up. And so the fans and everyone should know that we're going to be the only team in the country using it. It looks really cool. And we're fired up to represent it for Nike and everything they've done for us. And so let's promote that ball. And it's cool. I think everyone's going to like it.
Beautiful. Thanks, Coach.
Boom.